The 1980s, a decade of bold experimentation in automotive design, where manufacturers pushed boundaries with new technologies, materials, and concepts. But not every experiment was a success. Some cars from this era became legendary for all the wrong reasons. Today, we're counting down the 10 worst cars that rolled off assembly lines during the 1980s. These weren't just disappointing vehicles, they were mechanical nightmares that left owners frustrated and dealers scrambling for solutions. Before we dive into this list, if you love automotive history and want to see more content about classic cars, both good and bad, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Let's get started. Number 10, 1982 to 1988 Cadillac Cimarron. At number 10, we have the Cadillac Cimarron. Cadillac tried to compete in the compact luxury market by essentially rebadging a Chevrolet Cavalier and slapping a premium price tag on it. The result was a disaster that damaged Cadillac's reputation for years. Under the hood, the Cimarron launched with a weak 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine producing just 88 horsepower. Later models got a 2.0-liter with 86 horsepower, and finally a 2.8-liter V6 with 125 horsepower. But by then, the damage was done. The base price was around $12,000, nearly double what a Cavalier cost, yet buyers got essentially the same car with slightly better interior trim. Number 9, 1987 to 1988 Sterling 825. Coming in at number 9, the Sterling 825. This was a joint venture between Austin Rover and Honda, sold through Acura dealerships in North America. On paper, it looked promising. In reality, it was plagued with quality control issues that made ownership a nightmare. The 825 used a 2.5-liter V6 engine producing 151 horsepower, borrowed from Honda's Acura Legend. The engine itself was reliable, but everything around it wasn't. Electrical problems were rampant. Owners reported failing power windows, malfunctioning climate control systems, and dashboard lights that stopped working randomly. The build quality was inconsistent, with panels that didn't align properly and interior trim pieces that fell off. By 1991, Sterling pulled out of the U.S. market entirely, leaving owners with cars that were difficult to service and nearly impossible to resell. Number 8, 1981 to 1989 Cadillac Fleetwood. At number 8, we have the 1981 Cadillac Fleetwood with the V8 6.4 engine. Cadillac introduced cylinder deactivation technology to improve fuel economy, but the execution was years ahead of the available computer technology. The system was supposed to shut down cylinders when they weren't needed, but it rarely worked as intended. The 6.0-liter V8 was designed to produce 140 horsepower, but the unreliable cylinder deactivation system caused rough idling, stalling, and poor drivability. Owners constantly complained about hesitation and unpredictable performance. The computer system controlling the cylinder deactivation couldn't keep up with real-world driving conditions. Many dealers simply disabled the system and converted the engines to run on all 8 cylinders all the time. Cadillac abandoned the technology after just one model year, but the damage to their reputation was significant. It was an innovative idea executed poorly, proving that good intentions don't always lead to good cars. Number 7, 1982 to 1986 Chevrolet Camaro. Number 7 takes us to the Chevrolet Camaro with the Iron Duke four-cylinder engine. The Camaro was supposed to be a performance car, an American muscle icon. But in 1982, Chevrolet offered a base model with a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine producing just 90 horsepower. This was a Camaro that couldn't get out of its own way. The Iron Duke engine was designed for economy cars, not sports coupes. Acceleration was painfully slow, taking over 14 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. The engine was loud, rough, and completely unsuited for a car with the Camaro's sporty image. The handling was compromised by the front-heavy weight distribution from the cast-iron engine block. The car felt sluggish and unresponsive, nothing like what Camaro enthusiasts expected. Priced at around $8,000, it was affordable, but it was also an embarrassment. It proved that putting a weak engine in a performance car chassis doesn't save money, it just ruins the entire experience. Number 6. 1984-1988 Pontiac Fiero. At number 6, the Pontiac Fiero. Pontiac's mid-engine sports car looked promising and had innovative design, but it became infamous for catching fire. Early models had serious engine cooling problems that led to engine fires, creating a PR nightmare for General Motors. The base 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine produced 92 horsepower, barely adequate for a sports car. The optional 2.8-liter V6 with 140 horsepower was better, but by then, the Fiero's reputation was destroyed. The fires were caused by inadequate engine cooling and connecting rods that would break and puncture the oil pan, spraying oil onto hot exhaust components. General Motors issued recalls, but the damage was done. The plastic body panels over a space frame were innovative, but quality control was inconsistent. Handling improved significantly in later years, especially with the 1988 suspension redesign, but sales never recovered. By 1988, Pontiac pulled the plug on the Fiero, ending production after just 5 model years. It's remembered more for its problems than its potential. Number 5. 1981-1983 DeLorean DMC-12. Coming in at number 5, the DeLorean DMC-12. Made famous by Back to the Future, the DeLorean was more style than substance. The stainless steel body looked futuristic, but underneath was a seriously flawed sports car. The 2.85-liter V6 engine, borrowed from Peugeot, Renault, Volvo, produced only 130 horsepower. For a car priced at $25,000, expensive for the early 1980s, performance was disappointing. It took over 10 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. The gull-wing doors were impressive but problematic. They were heavy, the electrical systems that controlled them were unreliable, and in tight parking spaces they were impractical. The doors also leaked water in heavy rain. Build quality was poor, with inconsistent panel gaps, electrical problems, and rust issues, despite the stainless steel body. Number 4. 1986-1987 Yugo GV. At number 4, we have the Yugo GV. This Yugoslavian import became synonymous with cheap, unreliable cars. Priced at just $3,990, it was the least expensive new car in America, but buyers quickly learned they got exactly what they paid for. The 1100cc four-cylinder engine produced 55 horsepower, making the Yugo dangerously slow, especially on highways. The build quality was shockingly poor, with doors that didn't close properly, windows that fell into the door panels, and electrical systems that failed regularly. The carburetor was constantly problematic, causing stalling and rough running. The cooling system was inadequate, leading to overheating in warm weather. The manual transmission felt crude, and the clutch wore out quickly. Number 3. 1982-1984 Chevrolet Cavalier. At number 3, the Chevrolet Cavalier from the early 1980s. The first-generation Cavalier was General Motors' attempt to compete with Japanese imports, but it fell short in nearly every category. Build quality was poor, reliability was questionable, and rust became a serious problem within just a few years. The base 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine produced 88 horsepower, adequate for basic transportation, but nothing more. The optional 2.0-liter had 86 horsepower, and a 2.8-liter V6 later became available with 112 horsepower. The interior was cheap, with hard plastics and thin upholstery that wore out quickly. Rattles and squeaks developed early in the car's life. The dashboard design was basic and uninspiring. Rust was the Cavalier's biggest enemy. Within 3 to 5 years, owners saw rust appearing around wheel arches, door bottoms, and the rear quarter panels. The rust protection was inadequate for northern climates with road salt. 2. 1984-1987 Maserati B-Turbo. At number 2, the Maserati B-Turbo. This Italian sports sedan promised exotic performance at a more accessible price point, but it delivered one of the worst ownership experiences of the decade. The B-Turbo was plagued with electrical problems, engine failures, and build quality issues that left owners stranded repeatedly. The 2.0 twin-turbocharged V6 produced around 180 horsepower in US trim, impressive for its size, but reliability was abysmal. Turbochargers failed frequently, head gaskets blew, and the cooling system was inadequate, leading to overheating. Electrical gremlins were constant. Power windows failed, the air conditioning stopped working, and dashboard instruments gave false readings. Finding qualified mechanics who could work on the complex Italian systems was nearly impossible. Parts were expensive and hard to source. Waiting weeks or months for parts from Italy was common, leaving cars sitting in repair shops indefinitely. 1. 1987-1991 Chrysler TC by Maserati. And at number 1, the worst car of the 1980s, the Chrysler TC by Maserati. This confused collaboration between Chrysler and Maserati was supposed to be a luxury sports coupe, but it was essentially a rebadged Chrysler LeBaron convertible with Italian leather and a Maserati badge. The price was absurd, and the execution was embarrassing. The initial 2.2-liter turbocharged four-cylinder produced 160 horsepower, later upgraded to a 3.0-liter V6 with 141 horsepower. Performance was mediocre at best, nothing that justified the exotic car positioning. Priced at $33,000, more than double what a LeBaron convertible cost, buyers were paying for the Maserati name, not any real performance or luxury advantage. The car shared platforms, most mechanical components, and even many body panels with the much cheaper LeBaron. Production delays meant that TC arrived to market years behind schedule, by which time the LeBaron it was based on was already well known. Buyers weren't fooled by the Italian badges.